What's up guys, Joe here. Today we're going to talk about my experience with this phone right here, the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G. It's crazy to think that this phone has already been out for over a year. There was a lot of hype with the release of the Note 20 Ultra, and it was literally worth every penny of it. And since Samsung didn't release a Note series phone in 2021, is this phone still relevant? Yes, definitely yes. I'll start with the price, since that was one of the big topics when this phone came out. Samsung decided to just leap over that $1,000 mark, and this phone started in at around $1,300. Now, Samsung's discounted this phone drastically from the original $1,300 price tag, and you can usually buy this phone even cheaper used, but I generally recommend going the Samsung route for that warranty, especially after the charging issues that plagued the Note 10 Plus. But if you are wanting to go the used route, I'll put a link below of a website that I like to use. It's safe. You don't have to worry about buying a blacklisted phone or anything like that. I've used this website many times and it's very safe. Also, in case you're wondering, I'm not affiliated with the website. I just really like the website. Performance-wise, I want to start with one subtle quality about this phone that I feel like no one's really talking about is the vibrator. And I'm not talking about haptic feedback. I'm talking about the robustness of when maybe like someone calls or you get a text and it vibrates to let you know. I keep my phones on silent. I don't like ringers. This phone, I never miss a phone call with it in my pocket. I've got an iPhone 12. You can't feel that vibration in your pocket, and I miss a lot of phone calls if I'm using my iPhone. Now, my version of the Note 20 Ultra runs off of the Snapdragon 865 Plus chip. It hasn't slowed down a bit. I've noticed zero lag when gaming or multitasking of any kind. Now, of course, the Snapdragon 888 in the S21 is going to have higher benchmarks, but you're not going to notice a difference between these two in your day-to-day processes. Now, battery life. This is something that I feel is very subjective. Even when the phone was brand new, the 4,500 milliamp hour battery would not get me through an entire day. But I use my phone a lot for everything. Luckily, Samsung's super fast charging keeps this phone running. I can get a huge battery boost with just a few minutes of charge, and I can basically go from 0 to 100 in about 2 hours. Samsung's software has continued to get better over time, and they've done some consistent monthly updates with this Note 20 Ultra. Now, these updates aren't just security patches, but software and efficiency upgrades as well. These performance improvements are probably what's helped keep the battery from degrading so much over a year like most phones usually do, so it's really cool to see what Samsung's been able to do. I talked about camera upgrades from the software updates, so let's go ahead and just talk about those. That's the main reason people bought this phone, was for the camera. Samsung literally threw everything into the camera setup on this Note 20 Ultra. Here's a quick look at the numbers. It didn't disappoint at launch, and it's been getting better with every update. Not only does it take amazing photos, but video performance is in a class of its own. Samsung's finally pulled back their saturation levels to a happy medium, so you still get those clean, vibrant photos, but they just don't look over-processed or basically fake like they kind of used to. And one thing I've noticed that's really improved is portrait mode. Portrait mode now is very clean and crisp. It looks like Samsung's finally caught up to what Google and Apple have been able to do. But one cool thing about this phone is you can get a natural DSLR bokeh thanks to the primary sensor with its f1.8 aperture. Now, like I mentioned earlier, video quality on the Note 20 Ultra is in a league of its own. I can't say enough about the Pro Video mode and the settings that you're able to adjust. One really cool feature that was in one of the recent updates is the microphone settings when you're taking a video. You can now choose if you're using the selfie microphone or the rear mic, or even you can plug in a Bluetooth mic and select that as one of the options of what you're recording audio from. So if you use your phone a lot for social media or for YouTube, if you're starting a YouTube channel, anything like that, this phone is killer. It's actually the reason I got the phone. I have a DSLR, but I kind of needed a secondary phone to get some different shots when I'm repairing things. And this phone basically looked just as good or better than my DSLR did. One downside I've experienced with this camera, which hasn't seemed to have gotten better with updates, is the low light photography. I usually just avoid low light photography with this phone. Everything is very noisy and grainy. Come on, Samsung. With the specs you're showing me, let's do better. Next to the amazing cameras, there's usually one other reason that people go for a Note series phone, and that's the S Pen. Yeah, the S21 now has S Pen support, and that's cool and all, but it's just not integrated as well as it is with the Note series phones. The obvious being that the pen doesn't fit in the phone. You have to buy a separate case, a big bulky case, to be able to carry your S Pen around with your S21. But there's a lot more important differences between the two than just that. With the Note, you get full functionality with Air Commands, which if you've never had a Note or you've never used Air Commands, they're pretty awesome. One of my favorite features with the S Pen is the fact that I can take family photos or group photos, and I can actually use the S Pen as a remote so that we catch everyone in the photo and you don't have that one person that has to stand back and take the photo. Durability wise, I haven't had any issues with this phone at all. I've maybe dropped it once or twice, and both were without a case because this phone looks too good to put in a case. The back still looks like new. That matte finish has really done a great job over time. The front screen, I do have some minor scratches on the front screen. Luckily, Samsung's made the front screen pretty durable because it is hard to find screen protectors that fit this curved glass pretty well. I will recommend, if you do want one, UV screen protector. It is a tempered glass. It adheres to the entire screen of the phone. I'll put links in the description or somewhere for you guys. These things are great. They're hard to put on, so make sure you watch all the instructional videos before you put them on. But the fingerprint sensor and everything still works properly when you put these on, and they look really nice and they do protect the screen pretty well. This Note 20 Ultra also has a lot of other subtle features going for it that we're not going to see in the future. One of those being MST payments. I know nowadays most people accept NFC, but you still get some of those gas stations or rural areas that don't have that. Another feature that I say is subtle, but it's really more of a big deal that I'm letting on, is expandable storage. Samsung's slowly gotten rid of expandable storage. That's one of the main reasons I switched from an iPhone to an Android. This is the last Note series phone probably to have that. And that kind of sucks. Now, I know it sounds like I'm trying to sell the phone to you, but there are a few features on this phone that I don't like, or they're just shortcomings that Samsung couldn't quite figure out. One fairly important problem I've ran into with this phone, and it's actually not this particular phone, it's been Samsung's in general. I don't really know how to explain it. Let's say I get a telemarketing call and I'll block that phone number. If that phone number calls me back, the phone does block it, but it'll kind of glitch the phone out to where I don't get notifications. I originally noticed it with an S10 and I wouldn't get notifications maybe for an hour or two, and that would seem weird. I would reboot the phone and I would just get all the notifications just come flowing in all at once. And I noticed it after digging through that it was because of blocked phone numbers that tried to call in. This isn't something I've been able to catch on camera. It doesn't happen every time. It's just kind of an intermittent thing that happens occasionally. And I honestly haven't had it happen in a long time. So I'm thinking maybe Samsung's figured out the issue and fixed it. Now, I mentioned the charging issues that the Note 10 Plus had earlier in the video. I'm glad to tell you the Note 20 Ultra has had none of these issues. I've had no problems charging this phone. I use a wired charger most of the time. Other than those few little problems that I just mentioned, I haven't had any other issues with this phone. Charges great. Speakers are loud and crisp. I can always hear phone calls. People can always hear me. Video is out of this world. Cameras are amazing. So wrapping up, do I recommend the Note 20 Ultra in 2021? And it's a resounding yes. I still recommend it if you're looking for seamless S Pen support, if you have an upgrade available, if you like the Note series but you don't know if you should wait, this is still a great phone and I still recommend it. Or if you just like the idea of getting a banging phone for a good price since it's a year old now, this is definitely the phone for you. That's it for this video, guys. I'm Joe. This was a review of the Note 20 Ultra 5G 1 year later. Comment below, let me know what you guys think about the Note 20 Ultra. Are you thinking about getting one? Do you already have one? If you do have one, tell me your favorite feature about the phone. And then maybe if you have one, tell me your least favorite feature. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for my next video.